So without wasting too much of your time, we're going to get right into these settings. All right, so once you load into the game, this is pretty much going to be the first menu you're going to see. In order for you to access your settings, you will flick your joystick, the left one, to the left side, just like that, and then you hit X, right? It'll take you into the menu. Now, for me, the first thing I always like doing, I like going to turn off crossplay because that is very important, especially if you play on console. I mean, you could still keep it on, but then you're gonna be paired up with people on PCs or on Xbox, and for me, I rather just play with people who are on PlayStation, just to make sure that the competition is even. That's why I'd rather play cross-play off. And then after that, go back out, and then you hit the main settings. When you're in here, you go to game settings. Now, in game settings, your first option you are going to have is going to be the preset. Now, if you play online, if you play Ultimate Team or Seasons online, you would have to keep this competitive on. So make your settings with competitive on. Do not have it on customs. Oops, sorry, that was my fault. Because you cannot take your custom settings to play online, especially in Ultimate Team and Seasons. It does not work. It's going to pretty much automatically put you back on competitive. So keep it on competitive. Now, the first option you have is your shooting, your shot assistance. For me, I use assisted for now, just because I'm trying to get used to the game. I'm trying to get used to how the game responds, the mechanics and everything. That's why I don't want to have the extra stress of dealing with precision. That's why I just want to keep it on assisted for now. But eventually I will turn it and put it back on precision. Now, precision pretty much means, you control the direction of where you want the ball to go. You know what I mean? So it really is really good. I remember in 25 that when we have it on 25, if you have your shot assistance on precision and you want to take your shot and you notice that your opponent has moved his keeper to one direction, you can easily flick the switch to the other direction and you can still score the goal and keep it moving. But with assisted, once the animation starts, you cannot change the direction anymore. It's going to go to that direction, whether your opponent has moved the keeper or not. It's going to go to where you pointed to once the animation starts. So that's why normally I would recommend put it on precision that way, but it's kind of hard to get used to. I'm not even going to lie to you. Precision is really hard to get used to. So I would recommend for now, just put it on assisted, just because I'm just trying to understand and learn the game. Right now, your next option is your passing. In your passing, autoplay is automatically blurred out because of you have it on competitive. Now, in 25, we did have the option of putting our through pass and lob pass to assisted. But in 26, the highest option that we have is semi. So pretty much we're going to have to keep it on semi, both of them on semi. Your ground pass assistant will be on assisted. Cross assistant will be on assisted. Lob pass assistant will be on assisted, right? Now, your pass receiver lock is late. For me, I always had it on late as possible. Some people do it on animation start, which pretty much means if you hit the pass, once the animation starts, you cannot change the direction of where the ball is going to go. But for me, I like to put it on late as possible. There's also an option for power up. I've never seen anyone who uses power up. So the best option is for late. That way it gets, you can easily switch the direction if you're playing against an opponent who is very, very, who tries to anticipate your move. So you can kind of have it all over the place where you could put a face this way, but if they quickly move towards that direction where you're passing the ball to, you can easily switch it to another direction and just kind of like get an edge over your opponent. Pass sensitivity, precision pass sensitivity, for me, I'm going to keep it on normal. As the option here says, adjust the speed of precision aim. At a high sensitivity, the aim will always match your angle input, and making it more responsive yet more challenging to aim precisely. So for me, I keep it on normal. Now, next option you will have here is defending. On your defending, auto clearances is turned off because of competitive. Your clearance assisted, for me, I like to have it on directional. That way, wherever I want the ball to be cleared to, that is where it's going to go. So pretty much you direct where the ball goes to. If you put it on classic, it's going to be pretty much based on the situation. It could push the ball out to a corner. Your players could push the ball out to a throw-in, even if you didn't want that. So your best bet is to keep it on directional. That way you have complete control of where the ball goes when you're clearing out the ball, if that makes sense. Now, your next option is defending. Jockey, of course, is going to be manual because of the fact of competitive. Defending is, for me, I use advanced defending. Advanced defending, the only difference between advanced defending and tactical defending is on advanced defending, you have an option to press your square to tackle or your X to attempt a shoulder charge to seal out. But if you're doing it on tactical, everything pretty much is boiled down to your X button. And it depends on the situation. The computer will determine for you if they're going to do a seal out with a shoulder charge or if they're going to tackle with their legs. For me, I want to have an option of let me decide when I want to go for a charge, a shoulder charge. I wouldn't want, maybe I'm trying to do like a leg tackle and then the next thing I see is a shoulder charge. Because at the same time, that always kind of puts me in a situation where I tend to lose the ball and I get, I conceive a goal. So I don't want to put myself in that situation. I'd rather just have it on advanced defending. That way I control everything. Professional fouls, for me, I don't use this option. I've seen people use it. I just don't use it because I'm not trying to intentionally foul someone to get a yellow card. People do it just to maybe feel like you're winning 2-1 and, you have no other option. For me, I can just tackle you and just get a yellow card. Max, it will be a red card, and at least I've stopped the goal from happening. Pass block assistance, yes, you want to keep this on. I've noticed that the AI pass block assistant in this game is really strong, so please keep this on. Now, switching is your next option. Auto switching, I have always kept it on air balls and loose balls. So pretty much if the ball goes into the air or if there's a loose ball, the AI will automatically pick the player in the closest proximity of where the ball is going to go or where the ball is if it was a loose ball. So that is why auto switching for me is air balls and loose balls. There is an option of, sorry, that was my fault. There's an option of automatic. I've never used this. There's an option for only loose balls, only use loose balls. I don't use this option. I'd rather just keep it on air balls and loose balls, because if it's an air ball, sometimes if you're using the right stick switching, you may not be able to switch it to where the ball is going to go to, but automatically the AI will drop it for you. And if it's a loose ball, of course, it's going to be your closest player to the ball. Auto switching move assistance, I have it on none. Pretty much what this does is if your player was running in a particular direction and you switch to that player, the higher it is, the longer that person will continue in that direction until, maybe at some point, I'll give you control of that player. For me, I don't want them controlling. If I switch it to that person, I need that person to do what I want that person to do. Immediately, I switch to it. And that's why, for me, I put it on none. Right stick switching, for me, I keep it on classic. There is an option of adaptive. I've never used this, but because the longer you hold for the longer switch, the more distance the players are going to go then once you release it. So pretty much, if you have 3 players in a line and you want to switch to the player who's at the most back, you have to hold your direction for the longest time and then it's going to go to that person. I don't need that option. So I'd rather just keep it on classic and keep it moving. There's adaptive, player rotation. Those are the only 3 options you have. Now, your reference. For me, I have seen people use player relative. People have used player relative. I just cannot use it because for me, my eyes is 9 times out of 10 always on the ball. And sometimes I will, try to anticipate where my player is going to go, where my opponent is going to go. I might anticipate, but either way, my eyes will still be on the ball. You know what I mean? So for me, that's why I'd rather keep it on ball relative. Now, what this means is ball relative in the sense of if you want to switch the ball, the ball is your center point. If you do up, it's going to be the north part of the ball. If you do down, it's the down part of the ball. Wherever the ball is the center of your right stick, of your right stick switching. That's pretty much what that means. For me, I have tried 4, 3, and 5. In EAFC 25, I did have it on 3. I have tried it on 3, on 26. It didn't really work out for me. But on 5 gives me that sweet spot. You know what I mean? It definitely gives me that sweet spot. Now, next, player switching. If this is pretty much if you press your L1 button to switch your player, because you have 2 options. You can do right stick switching or L1 with your switching. So if you do an L1, for me, I always opt for it to give me the player that is closest to the ball. Right now, there is an option in the visuals where you can tell which player you're going to switch to. I'm going to go into that in a second, but pretty much if you press L1, this option is going to put that cursor on the closest player to the ball, and that's why I have it to me closest on the ball. There is an option for classic goal side. I've never used goal side because sometimes I don't always want it to be the person who's on the goal. Sometimes I want to drag my midfielder or my attacking midfielder back. So for me, I always do it closest on the ball. If I needed to go to the goal side, I can just switch my right stick to the one direction and it will pick someone on the goal side. Reaction time, just turn this off. It's never useful. Player lock on. Now, player lock, I mean, we all know player lock high works if you press your R3 and your L3 in together, and then you just switch it off with your flick it with your right switch to move it to the next person. Now, that person is the person you will now be controlling. Whatever option you press with the ball, if you press the pass, it's going to pass to that person. If you do a lob pass, it's going to go to that person. A through pass, the through pass will go to that person. So for me, yes, keep your player lock on if you use it. If you don't use it, then you can just turn it off. But it's something, me personally, I am still working on myself. I'm not really good with it, but I'm still working on it. Now, your goalkeeper. Save assistant is assisted. Camera pan, for me, I keep it on default. Now, I will say that the AI option of, keeper assistance to this year is really good so far from what I have seen. And yeah, definitely will recommend to keep it on assisted. Some people do say keep it on semi, that way they can kind of have a little bit of control, or just manual, but no, for me, it's always been assisted. Controller preferences, analog sprint off, trigger effect off, user vibration feedback enhanced. For me, I need to keep this off. I don't need any controller vibrating in my hand. I don't need all the additional, distractions. All right, the next option we're going to go into is your camera. Now, Ultimate Team competitive camera. Honestly speaking, I really do like this camera, this new camera that they have enabled. It kind of gives you that broadcast feeling, where it's not too wide, it's not too close, it's just right there. I mean, honestly, I like it. That's why for me, I left it enabled. But if you want to go in, back to your traditional co-op where you have everything completely zoomed out, then if you play Ultimate Team, just turn this off. Because if you don't, when you go into Ultimate Team, it'll bring in that new camera feature that they have that they just put into the game. So if you don't play Ultimate Team, then you don't have to worry about it. But if you do play Ultimate Team and you do want that your traditional co-op camera, then please turn this option off. It's very important. Now, everything for me is co-op. Rush camera, I keep the rush on rush broadcast because I kind of like it when it's a little closer, since it's not like a full field. And with this, I can see the entire pitch. So I don't need to do that extra zooming out. Power shot zoom, I turn this option off. This pretty much, if you do a power shot, I don't know if you guys remember, but if you do a power shot, it kind of zooms in the screen. That is very, very distracting. If I'm concerned, that's very, very distracting. So for me, I turned it off completely. I don't even want to see it. If you want to take a power shot, just take it. I don't need the screen to be moving back and forward. I just need the screen to stay one place so that I can see everything that's going on, in the field. Camera customization. Now, if you do co-op, for me, when in 25, before I started using the new Ultimate Team, because I basically play Ultimate Team a lot. So I would say go with your customs, and then your height is going to be 20. Zoom will be zoomed out to 0, and then everything else, just keep it as it is. You don't need to worry about anything else. The only main thing that you need to get, if you want to see the entire pitch, it is going to be you adjust the height to 20, zoom it out to 0. That way it is completely zoomed out. You can see the entire field, and then just leave everything else as it is. Correct. Now, next option is your visuals. Now, for me, connection monitoring, this is very important to me because I have been in situations where when I'm playing, sometimes I'm hitting a pass, it's not going. Like, okay, I'm trying to do, it's not working. At that point, this option will flash on your screen. If it's a network related issue, it will flash on your screen that, you're having terrible connection, or the connection is bad, or whatever, something. It'll give you a notification on your screen. It's going to come up on your screen like a flash like this. Input overlay, pretty much, for me, I have this option off. Score clock, I have it on. This is more like that clock where if you score a goal, it just pretty much drops down and goes back up. I just keep it on. I mean, it's not really distracting to me. I just keep it on. It just tells me the scores, of course. The score clock drop down. This is like the drop down menu. Like if you you see that right there, it's just gonna pop up on your screen randomly. Maybe the person who scored the goal, or it's just gonna drop down. Or maybe like a highlight, or maybe like a started that the commentaries are talking about. It's gonna pop up on your screen. I don't need that extra distraction. I turned it off. Scrolling lineups, I turn this option off. Hyper monitoring, inside overlays, I keep it on. Tactical chalkboard, I keep it on, because if you turn it off, you see that radar is gone. So for me, I like to keep it on. If you change your tactics, right? Like, how when you hit your